Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. No.
There we go. Because it was going to nothing else.
Ah, okay. So it's
All right, it is 7:12. Thank you all for being here. We have a full house. This is our last meeting for the semester, so yeah. So at 7:12, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order and we'll move forward. If anyone wants to register for open forum, you can do so here. Next one. Okay, we'll go and do our land acknowledgement.
We would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on indigenous land. Moreover, we would like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the Carrizo and Comecrudo, Coatican, Cabo, Moncagua, Comanche, Panapache, Alabama, Shada, Ticaboo, Imo Pueblo, and all the American Indian and indigenous peoples and communities who have been or become a part of these lands and territories in Texas, here on Turtle Island.
All right, first roll call. If everyone can fill that out, please.
you're talking about. It's 26 for everything. For everything, it's 26.
That's 2 days.
What about how many people? So 26. How many presents?
35? 34?
Yeah, 35.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move forward. We have a quorum. 24. All right, open forum. First up, I have Amanda Garcia from Senate to speak on something.
I don't know if you saw the last of me. Anyway. I'm kidding. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself to the assembly, like new people and everything. I was in UI rep last year, but this year I'm serving on Senate's executive board as the policy director. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you on like initiatives. I know the JRAP process is halted right now, but there are still ways that we can pass legislation in conjunction and do LSO-wide like cross initiatives and everything. So just talk to me if you would like to do any of that. And this year also, I'm leading Invest in Texas, which is a biannual advocacy. It's not really lobbying and quotation marks, right? So the Texas legislature with issues regarding higher education in the Texas legislature. So it can either range from bills in regards to allowing students to use their IDs, their student IDs as a form of voter ID, or all the way to securing and protecting our educational equity and freedom on campus. So if you are also interested in working with me with that, I am in the process of creating an advocacy agenda and working with not only people in LSOs, but student organizers and student organizations and marginalized groups who typically don't have their voices lifted up to the Texas legislature. So yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you all.
All right, Amanda, one second, minute. We're gonna enter Q&A. Are there any questions for Policy Director Garcia? Seeing none, all right, okay.
Representative UI, hi Amanda, lovely to see you here. What are some ideas you have for Invest in Texas and like lobbying at the Texas legislature?
Yeah, so the typical plan is that there's like three, I guess, teams. There's advocacy, there's communications, and then there's bill tracking. So a team tracking all the different bills that are going through the Texas legislature, and I think this year is going to be very active in the Texas ledge, just because of all the things that are going through and certain legislators and people in power threatening security for professors on campus and the curriculum that professors and faculty are able to teach. So yeah, things like that. I plan on hosting advocacy trainings and workshops, you know, teaching people how to give and write testimonies in the Texas legislature. There's typically like a really big march to the Capitol that hasn't happened in the past 2 years because of COVID. Yeah, so just different things. I mean, obviously there's like more specific ones, but again, if anyone wants to speak to me about it.
All right, any other questions? Seeing none, the speaker reclaims the remainder of the time. Thank you so much. All right, next up we have Leland Murphy.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all having a great night for our last assembly. Super excited for all the big things from exec appointments to all the bills we have on the agenda. But my announcement is about the Starbucks store. So I know the last update we told y'all is that we had halted it until we heard back from the organizing committees. So we reached out to all three of them, and we have heard back from the 24 Starbucks, and they do like the idea and like the time we proposed. So we will be moving forward with that, going to that Starbucks on this Saturday at 4 p.m. But to keep it, they want to have 50 people or less just because they can't accommodate more than that. So I'll be sending out a sign up in the Slack. So if you're interested in coming and just showing support for the organizing and the union, then let me know. And we have also been in contact with 45th Starbucks has also replied, but we're still kind of working out the details with that one. But we'll definitely be visiting the 24 Starbucks this Saturday. So I'll send that sign up pretty soon, and please show up and show support for the workers and their organizing and their labor rights. So thank you all so much.
Any questions for the president? Seeing none, the speaker claims the remainder of the time. Thank you so much. All right, next up we have Vaisham Karuna. Is that person here?
Yeah, I'm on Zoom.
Okay, yeah, whenever you're ready.
Could I share my screen? Is that possible?
Hold 1 second. How do I do that?
Stop sharing.
Wait, what?
Click stop sharing.
Oh.
Yeah. See, ask if it's public session.
Do you have ability to do that?
To share my screen. It's saying it's disabled.
Yeah, I might do. Okay, so you're co-host now, so you should be able to do that.
No, thanks, man. All right, let me pull up my screen. All right, I'm ready to go.
Okay, 1 second. Whenever you're ready.
All right, cool. Hi, everyone. Thanks for sharing your time with me today. I'm here to talk about the Texas Civic Impact Council and a cool little project we have running. Before I get into that, though, I just want to plant this seed, this question in your brains. Do you guys plan on being in Austin after graduation or master's? If the answer is yes, pay real close attention because this is really important. So before we kind of get into that, just a little bit about the Texas Civic Impact Council. We're an interdisciplinary student org here on campus that's bringing together 9 different colleges to take an interdisciplinary approach to solving social issues. So we believe that really important issues need to be solved at the intersection of the arts, humanities, and sciences. And so we take that approach by bringing together students from 9 different colleges here at UT. Do you guys know what Project Connect is? If the answer is yes, awesome. If it's not, then listen up because this is really important. So Project Connect is this huge $10 billion investment coming into Austin. It's going to bring a light rail connecting North and South Austin. It's going to like expand like this electric bus fleet that we have, and it's going to be like really cool underground transit tunnels and transit stations. So why is this important? Yeah, it's like this really cool infrastructure investment, but it's also the generational opportunity to develop affordable housing, create new jobs, like make Austin more equitable and make it more innovative. And most importantly, if we don't make sure that the money is spent in the right ways, it can displace a lot of people, make gentrification a lot worse, and make it less affordable. So how is the Texas Civic Impact Council getting involved? The first thing is that we're going into communities and leading one-on-one conversations with people to understand, hey, what are your priorities when it comes to affordable housing? What are your priorities with jobs? What are your priorities with community development? Taking that information, running it a little bit of analysis on it, understanding what are trends in Riverside, what are trends in Hyde Park, what are trends in West Campus, and then presenting those trends and actionable solutions to city leaders, not only in government, but in the business sector, community organizations, and such. And the idea is to lead, student kind of conversations around these really important topics that are essential for the future of our city. And so to make Austin more affordable, to make it more innovative, to make it more equitable, get involved. If you
I'm so sorry. The time has expired, so we'll go ahead and enter Q&A. Yeah, if anyone wants to like ask him, to finish what he was going to say. Representative Bailey.
Representative Bailey, Liberal Arts, can you finish what you were saying?
Yeah, let me unmute.
I'm unmuted. Thanks, boss. Yeah, I mean, so the thing is that, we understand that it's really difficult to make broad sweeping policy. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, dope. Yeah, we understand it's really difficult to make broad sweeping policy change. And so we're taking a case by case approach to, building affordable housing, like making sure that investment flows in the right areas so that whatever money and change comes from Project Connect, it's more for public benefit than for public harm. I'm going to cap it right there because I'm hoping for some questions.
All right. Are there any questions? Representative Hayes.
Hi, Rep Hayes, Architecture. I may have missed it, but I didn't see the School of Architecture on your list of colleges. And the School of Architecture is the home of community and regional planning, urban design, and landscape architecture on this campus, and has professors doing research on regional planning and stuff like that. So it seems distinctly relevant to the studies going on there. So would you consider incorporating the School of Architecture into this council?
Yeah, so let me just that's a great point. Thanks for your question. So the council is kind of like this, it's like this body that creates the projects that we're working on, but the project is really open for every student at UT and every student in the city of Austin. And so when we're saying we're getting students involved in like creating solutions for issues or like going out and having conversations, we're really engaging every single student that's interested. In terms of having people on the council and expanding it to include the School of Architecture, that's something that we'd love to do. We just picked these 9 colleges for the moment being because we felt like this is where the most students were housed. But that's a great point you're bringing up. I think I'll definitely take it back to the drawing board. But the opportunities for influencing Project Connect and our project is open to every single student, like I mentioned, and so it's not really tied down to any specific school.
Any other questions? Seeing none, the speaker claims to run out of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving along, our next speaker is Jolene Sanchez.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Joylene Sanchez, at-large graduate rep. I just want to come up here today, kind of take a moment to reflect and remember. This past Sunday, April 24th, was the Armenian Remembrance Day. The Armenian genocide took place on April 24th, 1915, where they estimate 1 to 1.5 million Armenians were murdered viciously. And I don't know, I just like to take the chance, any chance I get, to educate my fellow peers and colleagues to remember the Armenian genocide. The proper way to remember them the lost lives would be to recount and name every single name of those who we lost, but that is impossible. So I just kind of like to take my time when I can to educate and, say, spread the word that we must remember the Armenian genocide.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for the representative? Seeing none, the speaker claims the remainder of the time. Thank you so much. Okay, moving along. The quote of the week. If you're going through hell, keep going. Winston Churchill. I put this up here because it is finals week. Finals week start next week, right? Next week or this week? I don't know, but they start soon. Yeah. Point is, it's up. So just keep going. We're almost there. Let me get a break. All right. So just stepping out of my speaker role here and presiding, I'm just going to give you some context of what's happening, because we have a lot to get through and we have a very limited time. And because we have some constitutional questions as well, we're going to move around the schedule a bit. So I'm going to entertain a motion to consider new business first before we consider any executive or legislative appointments. Does someone want to make a motion? Representative Paul.
I move to place new business before executive appointments by hand vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor of doing that, please raise your hand. Okay, 1 second. All those on Zoom as well, please. For those on Zoom, the motion is to move new business before executive and legislative appointments. We're doing a hand vote. Please raise your hand if you are in favor of that. Okay. All those opposed?
Wait. Conversation, would AB1 be considered new business?
Yes.
Why is it not unfinished business if we talk about it?
We tabled it.
We table it.
Okay. Anyways, back to the.
Okay, all those opposed to moving the agenda briefly, raise your hand. Any abstentions? Okay, removing the agenda. All right. So first order of new business, if you skip, is AB1, amending the governing documents to enact the Transform SG Initiative Act. This has been fast tracked, but we do need to untable it first, so the chair will entertain any motion. Representative Pelajo.
Representative Pajaso, Liberal Arts, motion to untable AB one, or reintroduce AB one.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, this will require a simple majority. Is there any preference hand vote? Unanimous consent, roll call.
Unanimous consent.
Okay, is there a, sorry, is there a second again?
Second.
Any objection? So ordered. Okay. Right, so now we need to explain why we're fast tracking the bill. So Representative Pullman and the other authors and sponsors if you want.
Hey guys.
One second. 2 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll keep it really brief, since this is our last assembly of the semester, and if we're not fast tracking today, then we'll just be left in committee for the entire summer, so essentially we're gonna fast track it to pass it here today.
Are there any questions for the author? Seeing none, speaker claim the remainder of the time. The chair will recommend, or the speaker will entertain any motion. Representative Pelajo.
Representative Pajaso, Liberal Arts, motion to fast track the bill by hand vote.
Okay, there's a motion to fast track the bill by hand vote that requires 24 votes. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, all those opposed, please raise your hand. Any abstentions? Okay, by a vote of 26-0, fast track is approved. There's one, no? Oh, I'm sorry. 26 yes, 2 no's, 0 abstentions. That's what I recorded. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and introduce the bill. So I'll ask that the authors and sponsors come up for that.
It's 3 minutes, right?
Yeah. And so I'll give you some context here just really quickly. I'll move forward because I know this is a little confusing. We have to introduce the bill before we can make any amendments. I know we have the substitute amendment that the committee agreed to, which will be introduced after. But just so everyone's not confused and we're trying to pull a fast one.
Yeah, I think that covered it pretty well. This past weekend, a handful of us met, and we pretty much just collectively came together and crafted a newer, smaller, and more effective bill that just targets what we're trying to do. So again, as Kevin said, after this 2-minute block is that we'll just make the amendment to introduce a committee substitute. That's what talk over.
The only amendment that was made to the ethics and oversight section was adding a line that says opposing all forms of harassment as outlined in the code of conduct. That was the only thing done to the EOC section.
There were no amendments to the budget section. If you have questions, we're open to those, but
Another thing I forgot to add is instead of making the referendum just one question of like, do you support the revision to the Constitution, it's now 3 specific questions. And we've also removed the graduate severance part and the judicial reform. That's going to be a longer term.
Okay. Speaker claim the remainder of the time. The chair will recommend that we enter a 2-minute recess to discuss the bill, the substitute version, even though we haven't approved it yet. Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? Please stand in recess for 2 minutes.
Can you write this down?
Hey, Adrian needs a MacBook charger. Does anybody have a MacBook charger for him? No? Please? Thanks, Lily.
No, it's All right, I'm calling us back. I'm calling us back. The chair will entertain any motion. Representative Pelagic.
Motion to extend recess by 2 minutes.
Is there a second? Any objections? So ordered. Recess 2 minutes.
Wait, when are we?
We need a,
All right, I'm calling us back. I'm calling us back. Okay. All right, I'm calling us back. I'm calling us back. Caucusing is over. Caucusing is over. The chair will entertain any motion at the floor right now. The chair will entertain any motion on the floor right now relating to AB 1. Representative Holman.
Everyone, let's take a motion. Okay, so I'll take it. Rep. Holman, do you want, I motion to introduce the committee substitute version instead of the previous version we had by unanimous consent.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any objection?
think they heard it.
Okay, so I'll just, yeah.
Will the represent? Okay. Regular order. Everyone, please listen. There's a motion on the floor.
Okay, Rep. Holman, I motion to introduce the committee substitute version. So instead of the regular one we introduced last week by unanimous consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any objections?
I have a point of order.
We're voting. It's
Okay, I was
supposed to
trying to
be
make that
voting.
earlier.
Is there any objection to that? So it is to introduce the substitute amendment, different from the actual current bill. Is there any objection to that? Seeing none, so ordered. I will recognize your point of order. I'll recognize your point of order.
I don't know how to word this, but I want to try to, I don't know how to word this, guys, so I need your help, but the two new CNS reps have not been sworn in, and so they can't vote on this piece of legislation. So, and I want them to. I know. So is there a way we can swear them in real quick?
No, because you have to vote.
That's a parliamentary inquiry. And no, we
Yes.
cannot, because we've already started new business. We cannot jump from new business, table this, then go to legislative or executive appointments, and then come back to new business.
Sounds like you just said you could, so.
No,
Just
we
do exactly
cannot.
what you just described.
No,
We didn't vote on anything yet.
We haven't.
we have taken 3 votes.
Well, not on the-
No, but we've taken this from the table. The legislation is the current thing on the floor right now. That's the current thing that we're dealing with. We, as far as I'm understanding from what Holman and I have looked at the rules, we cannot jump from new business to like a bill that we're currently discussing right now from new business, then go to appointments and then come back. It's either all appointments or all new business.
Okay, I'm only bringing this up because it's kind of a, like, act of bad faith to not have.
No, I understand.
And I feel like a lot of people are unaware when we voted on that the two new reps would be able to vote. Like, that's two votes that either side of the business, you know? Keep that in mind.
Parliamentary, wouldn't we be able to interrupt the suspended parliamentary procedure and then move back and forth?
So the governing documents are bylaws. You cannot suspend bylaws. Your only alternative is to potentially,
We would have to table this, right? Table.
No.
back to appointment.
no. You could call point of order on the ruling that I'm going to give, but and appeal that ruling. That is the only way that you could conceivably move it. But then even then, that raises questions that could go to the court. So
Yeah.
Okay. One,
Yes.
point of order, call a rule of ruling by the chair.
He hasn't made a ruling yet. He
yeah,
hasn't.
I've not made a ruling.
So
Who's
make a point
arguing?
of order to. Pause.
Hey, y'all have a parliamentarian right there.
Anybody got a good point?
Okay, I'm just gonna move forward because we're pressing time and we're not moving any movement. The chair will entertain any motion.
Can we get it? Yeah.
Okay, there's a motion to enter a 2-minute recess. Is there a second? Are there, why what vote count? Why what vote method? Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any objection? Stand recess 2 minutes.
I have a quick question for you on this. Number one,
We cannot suspend the rules.
are these people being confirmed? Is there any opposition to them whatsoever? So is there any particular reason why I can't make a motion to table this discussion and reopen their confirmations and specifically shut down any time for questioning just so they can be confirmed so that we can just move forward without any kind of issues?
You could make a motion to do all that, but the problem is that we cannot move from new business. Like, if we're already considering AB1, like, if we table A this, the next thing is gonna be AB6.
So that's fine. So you table,
AR7.
so can I hypothetically table this, follow that up with a motion to vote on the confirmations without question and without approval because they are, they don't need to be questioned because they're not running in opposition to anybody, and then move from that to AR6 and then back to SB1?
No, because there are AR7, 8, and 9 that are also in new business.
Okay,
So the problem is,
you do AR6, 7, 8, 9, back, and then you do SB1. Right? Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
So you skipped a thing.
So this is what we skipped, because usually appointments would be first.
Yeah.
Because there's a constitutional question which relates to them. We moved appointments and we are in new business right now. We have to do all of this before we can go back up here.
Why can't you do like some kind of motion to close new business with the possibility of reopening following appointments?
There is a provision in the code of rules. I don't remember what it is. We can look for it right now. But there's a provision in the code of rules that states that we have to, like, you can't skip around anything.
But it's not skipping, it's closing and reopening.
I would argue that the ruling only refers to the executive appointments and not the legislative appointments. So we could just say that we only skip the executive appointments, not the legislative appointments. Because it's not like
I still think that we should do them without question and answer and just move on because there's no.
So the thing is that it's all, it's like all appointments. It's all appointments, right?
Read me the exact piece of the legislation that you're talking about regarding all appointments.
It just says appointments have to go at the first order of business. Like, that's how it's laid down in the code.
But you've already moved past that by tabling them until later. So I don't see any reason why you can't table this piece until later.
So the problem is with that though, is it wasn't that we just tabled one appointment, we tabled all.
Yeah.
The thing is that we have bills after that we also have to.
So why can't we make a motion to just to legislative appointments right now? So just table to move legislative appointments before new business.
Can I motion to just confirm everybody without having to deal with any of this bullshit, since again they're going unopposed?
I mean,
as long as it has a vote, then
it would save time.
It could, yeah. I mean, but yeah, I mean, so the person, like the people could get up and they'll have to speak 2 minutes, but you can make a motion. I guess you can make a motion to close that. Yeah.
So all I have to say is,
the code doesn't say they have a specific time. The code just says you have to make a motion to approve them. So I don't see the problem with making a motion to just confirm them all.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say motion to motion to confirm all legislative appointments by unanimous consent. And if there's any objection to it, that's fine.
I think that works because it has the full chambers.
Right, but what I'm saying, the problem is that there's still new business after AB1.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
So
after that, we consider AB1.
Yeah, so it's a motion to table new business and then motion to confirm all legislative appointments by unanimous consent at once, followed by motion to reopen new business. I'm happy to make the motions right now.
I think that works.
All right, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Yes.
Sorry. I know that like a lot of work went into this bill, but the fast track already passed. So if we wanted to delay, we have to table it. And I know that that's true, but amendments are still coming in. But we can still vote to table it. Like that's still an option and reintroducing this in the fall. But I know that a lot of people don't want to do that, but that is an option, right?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, I'm calling this back in. The chair will recommend, or will entertain any motion on the floor right now. The chair will entertain any motion on the floor right now. Representative Greenwald.
Representative Greenwald, graduate student at large, motion to table, motion to table new business by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, so ordered.
Awesome. Second motion, Representative Greenwald, University graduate student at large, motion to confirm all legislative appointments immediately by unanimous consent because every single one of them is running unopposed.
That motion is not cognizable because we have not entered any form of business currently.
Okay. Motion to open discussion on all legislative appointments.
Is there a second?
Second.
By unanimous consent?
By unanimous consent.
Any objections? Go ahead.
Motion is this right now?
So we are now opening legislative appointments.
So it's different.
Yeah.
Point of order.
Who?
Hey,
Yeah.
are we looking up, like, are we also considering the exec board now? Or-
No, this is only for legislative appointments.
It is all of the unopposed conditions.
Okay, I know.
All right, now that we've done that, motion to vote on all unopposed individuals of the legislative.
Was there any objection to opening legislative appointments? None? So ordered. Okay.
Motion to confirm all legislative appointments by unanimous consent.
Second.
Any objections?
Is that-
Wonderful.
Stand by.
Congratulations.
I've not approved anything. Hold on. Okay. Representative Greenwald, I need you to read off that. Read off that.
I move to confirm the appoint Abby Hall, Benjamin Rogers by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Are there any objections to confirming all three CNS representatives into their positions? Seeing none, they are confirmed.
All right.
The speaker will entertain any motions.
Motion to reopen discussion on new issues by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Any objections? So ordered.
Great.
What stands as of right now? We are currently on AB one on.
Oh, wait, it's for the.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna take a moment to swear them in.
Okay, can I get all of the people that are being sworn in to stand up, please? Congratulations. All right, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of CNS representative of the University of Texas at Austin Student Government. And will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the state. Congratulations, guys.
Okay. So that everyone is aware of where we are right now. Currently on the floor, we are opening back, we're in under new business discussing AB one and its substitute version. The floor is now open for any amendments, moving the previous question, or, well, actually, technically, no, we're in Q&A, so, yeah. We're into Q&A.
Representative Collazo, Liberal Arts, motion for a 3-minute recess to discuss the bill.
Is there any seconds? By unanimous consent? Is there any objection to entering a 3-minute recess? Seeing none, so ordered. 3-minute recess. Q&A period. If I can have all authors and sponsors up there for Q&A, please. We're in Q&A. We're in Q&A. Not right now. Not yet. Not now. Okay. Okay. Representative Sinatami. Oh, not yet. Hold on. Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
Representative Sinatami, College of Natural Sciences. Can you talk about what amendments were discussed just now?
All right, thank you for that excellent question, Representative Bobby. Yeah, so during recess, we discussed, the bigger students, too much concerns with quorum, so it sounds like there's gonna be an amendment to strike out sections, I believe, 2 and 26, or 3 and 26, thank you, which would lower quorum from 2/3 to a simple majority, so I assume after Q&A, Representative Bobby will introduce that motion to strike out those sections.
The other amendment that I am going to propose is striking out the section that says the Attorney General must be a law student.
Any other? No. Any other questions on the floor right now? Representative Hancock.
Hi, I'm a college engineering representative from Lehan. And I was just wondering why exactly it is deemed necessary to amend the Constitution that a non-law student would be able to take up the role of Attorney General, even though it seems as though it's a big responsibility and likely one that requires a lot of experience and time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna defer the question to our sponsor, Leland, because I know this is something that he's interested in.
No, yeah, it's a really great question. And first of all, about the amendment, I just want to clarify and apologize for any miscommunication on this that happened. It was mainly just that we wanted this amendment now because obviously we're having our exec board tonight and we ideally would love for them all to be confirmed. But going back to your original question, we really wanted this position to be open to all students, which is why that was struck out. In addition, the reason why that was kind of the merits we thought of is because in our kind of re-envisioning and reimagining of the role, it doesn't specifically just deal with like law and policy and procedure. That is still gonna be one part of it, which we think many undergraduate students are capable of, and we have a really qualified candidate here tonight. But also to kind of see a more advocacy component to the role, kind of like how state and like the federal attorney general operate, where they kind of like build coalitions to like advocate against different policies and things like that at different levels of governance. That's kind of also how our re-envisioning the role looks like, and that's why I don't specifically want it to be a law student. I don't think it has to be a law student. So that's kind of to answer your question.
Are there any other questions? Representative Bailey.
Representative Bailey, College of Liberal Arts. My question is, why was that amendment not discussed on our meeting on Saturday?
Yeah, again, that's a great question. And we like apologize. This is honestly just like a very rushed process, and not rushed when like the thought wasn't put into it, more so just like this is our last assembly. We obviously won't have an exec before summer because that benefits all of us to have that, so we can start working on these advocacy and things like that. So that's why it wasn't brought up. And also another reason was kind of, we were just discussing how logistically we wanted to do this. And again, those conversations should have been had with everyone, and that we apologize for that. And that's kind of why it wasn't brought up on Saturday.
Representative Greenwald.
Is there any reason?
Microphone. Can someone? No, for the people in Zoom.
Is there any reason?
No.
Is there any reason?
Just one.
All right, cool. Is there any reason why you chose to remove law student rather than add, say, pre-law student or public policy student? Because it seems to me that those categories would be the ones most best situated to deal with this position.
Yeah, that's a really great question. And kind of the reasoning for that was, again, because I think there can be talented students who understand law and the Constitution, not just the SG, but of the US Constitution, who don't specifically just have to be like pre-law or government, which of course, like I know there's a lot of government majors here. I'm one of them, but I know there are tons of talented people and candidates who understand those things without necessarily having to be a pre-law or pre-policy or law student. And again, we just want to make sure we open this position up to as much talent as possible, and not limiting the talent like it, especially because when this position did exist before it kind of went defunct. I'm pretty sure that kind of just like became a thing, or wasn't specifically like law students that had to be there, and that's kind of why it just fell off over the years. So that's why we really want to have as much talent as possible open for this
And
position.
additionally about that, in our outreach for the executive board, we did reach out to a number of law organizations as well as pre-law, like minority women in pre-law. So it wasn't like we just exclusively outreach to undergraduates.
All right, the time for Q&A has expired. Representative Bailey.
Representative Bailey, motion to extend the time by 5 minutes.
Is
By
there,
unanimous consent.
is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? So ordered. Any questions?
Follow up on that last question.
Representative Greenwald.
In what way were law students or associated students contacted?
Just like when we had our general promotion outreach, we outreached to a lot of different groups, and it was out there. It was not like, we're not specifically targeting just undergraduates. It was open to anyone, and we definitely pushed it with both undergraduates, graduates, law students.
Can you give one concrete example of reaching out to the law school?
So the law school
I
specifically.
can find the specific law organizations that I reach out to.
Please and thank you.
Any? Okay, any other questions? Representative Sinazami.
Representatives in the Bombay College of Natural Sciences, just so that everyone has an equal playing field with understanding this position, can you just explain the roles of Attorney General?
Yeah, great question, Representative Bombi. So Attorney General, as it stands, is strictly prohibited to law students, hence the amendment, but the role itself kind of deals with looking at policies, procedures, student government bills, outside bills, like actual legislation passed at local, state, and federal levels, and just making sure we as an executive are kind of in compliance with that. But kind of our re-envisioning and reimagining of it includes that portion, but also kind of the advocacy component, as I talked about, like not just looking at laws and like oh, this is what we have to follow in this kind of way, but also like seeing what's happening at the state, local levels, and kind of advocating for different laws and like kind of building coalitions with other groups for changes in laws and that sort of thing. And also just to make sure that, you know, we're all like, just like legislation is top notch, it's produced by the executive board and that sort of thing.
And I can refer to the past question and answer specifically what law organizations we reached out to. And we reached out to a few of them, including Texas Law Disability Alliance, the Women's Law Caucus, the LGBTQ Law Student Association, the Policy Alliance for Community of Color, and the Asian Pacific American Law Student Association.
Are there any other questions? Representative Dexter.
Representative Duxuk, transfer. I just have one question. Did any law students apply for this position? I don't know if I.
I guess we're not. We did not have any law students apply.
And we sent follow-up emails as well. It wasn't just like a one and done type thing. We reached out, I think we sent 2 to 3 emails to all these groups.
Any other questions?
Did you reach out to the Student Bar Association at the law school or just individual groups?
That is not a question to ask of the Vice President. A parliamentary inquiry is relative to the rule set that is going on right now. If you have a question, just raise your hand for a question.
Okay.
Representative Greenwald.
Did you reach out to the Student Bar Association, the SBA, or did you reach out to just individual groups?
No, I did not reach out to those groups.
Follow-up question, what made you reach out to those individual groups rather than any other, or the Student Bar Association, which represents the law school as a whole?
You know, I think it might have just been an oversight on our part, and we apologize for that, but you know, it was open to everyone, so it's not like we were excluding any group necessarily. And I think one thing that also maybe might have gone into that is like, technically the Student Bar Association is represented within the Senate, so it kind of goes back to those like conversations of like, they already kind of have representation and kind of thing, but it wasn't like we were trying to exclude them necessarily. We definitely would have loved for anyone from the Student Bar Association to apply.
Any other question? Representative Pena.
Representative Pena-Cola, is there a reason that we were really, the entirety of assembly is just learning about this re-envisionment of re-envisioning of the role right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Rep. Pena. And I think it's kind of just that, again, oversight, totally sorry about it, but it was a very quick turnaround, all parts, first, this whole bill, we weren't even at first considering putting us into this bill. It's kind of gonna become its own conversation, its own, like, legislation altogether. But then just with AB1 coming back up, we're like, well, this kind of makes sense if it's already a constitutional, like, rules and procedures overhaul, then it kind of makes sense to amend that. But I totally agree that, it should have been more intentional on making sure that everyone was looped in and just in those conversations. So that's kind of why that happened or didn't happen.
And if I can, real quickly before our time expires, so right now, the amendments to the Attorney General are not in the bill, so, but that would have to be motion later on. So right now it's not in, but of course we're considering it.
Okay, time has expired, and just so everyone's like aware of what's going on right now, this is not like, well, I have no stake in this, I'm just simply giving you the facts here. This is not a constitutional change, this is a change to the code and rules and procedures. Just so everyone's aware, it's not changing the Constitution, it's changing the code of rules. With that being said, is there any motion on the floor right now? Representative Kalaja.
Representative Quijasco, Liberal Arts, motion to extend question and answer by 4 minutes.
Is there a
5 minutes.
is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? Sorry. Any questions? Representative Greenwald.
When putting this amendment together this past weekend, did you at any point reach out to either student law students on student government at the moment?
We did not specifically reach out to them, unless they're in the Slack channel, which I can't remember off the top of my head if they're in. No. Oh, no, we did not, I'm so sorry. But, now we're talking about it, so it kind of works.
Any other questions? Representative Hayes.
Red Case architecture. Excluding the amendment relating to the Attorney General, what does passing this Assembly bill today allow us or you to do rather than passing it at the start of the fall?
Amazing question. So let me just follow up. So I just want, if you're asking like specifically what we can do now, I think the biggest thing, the reason why I'm going to push this out now, was just because after this bill passes, it has to go to Dean Lilly in her office. And for a question to go up on as a constitutional referendum, right now it says it only takes 4 weeks. If that was the case, then I would love to wait the fall. But the problem is she has to have her team of lawyers review every like the language, make sure it's ready to go up for a ballot. So for example, like in the 115th, when we passed like the ethics and code bills, which had a host of reforms to the Constitution, that was passed in early February, I believe. So traditionally that should have gone to a vote in March. However, Dean Lilly told us that just wasn't happening, that they needed more time. And even now, it's still not ready. They're still reviewing that same language. So by having this stuff passed now in the summer, her and her team of lawyers to look over the language, most likely consult us as an assembly. And then from there, hopefully by the time we come back in the fall, it's ready to go up to a student vote as a referendum, and then we can discuss further steps from there.
Yeah, real quick, I'm making the jurisdiction answer, just to follow on that. So just so everyone's aware, I did say in my message, and we haven't got to this, we're on this, and I was going to explain here soon, we got to the end, 2 announcements. But I do intend to create a committee to study more long-term FD reform, because I know that was a party. That is something I'm going to have like done over the summer, at a more slower pace, so we can be a lot more deliberative about other things. But these are more immediate changes that we can make now that are pretty unanimous, right? Support, which I'm sure is being worked out soon.
Representative Bailey.
You might want to stay over there for just 1 second, sorry. Well, Representative Bailey, will this summer committee to focus on long-term reform include student input?
It will be up to the leadership of the committee and the people on it.
Any other questions? Yes. Sure.
Representative Hancock from the School of Engineering. So I keep hearing you refer to, like, I'm just returning on the Attorney General thing, and I keep referring you here to talk about re-envisioning. But I'm just concerned that how these revisions impact the requirements and really necessary abilities to interpret the law and legalese, along with all those other responsibilities, how someone from the law school just generally wouldn't appreciate that opportunity experience, and how someone without that experience would be able to make that position do it well.
So what was your question? I'm just kind of wondering, like, what was your, can you like restate that? I didn't
What did
catch
you
it.
mean by re-envisioning, and how does that correlate to changing the standards for what an attorney general should be?
Yeah,
Hold on. I'm going to reclaim the time for time to expire. Are there any motions on the floor? Representative Pena.
I make a motion to extend time by 3 minutes by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Any objections? Sorry.
No, yeah, it's a really good question. Kind of the re-envisioning, it doesn't necessarily change the role as it is. Like, nothing that's currently in the code of rules and procedures would be changed, except for the part that says it doesn't have to be a law student, right? That's the only like technical change that's made. Kind of the expansion is more on the our side thing, which, you know, as we know, like, there are a lot of things that aren't necessarily delineated, rules and procedures that executive board things carry out. And so the kind of re-envisioning piece is more so just adding that advocacy component, which really most of the exec board already does within their roles, outside of just the technical language of what they're doing. So that's kind of what that re-envisioning piece looks like, is more so like other advocacy that kind of relates to the aforementioned things.
And as it stands, like the responsibilities of the Attorney General, things like adherence to the Constitution, adherence to institutional, local, state, and federal policy, procedures, policy implementation, class action efforts, all those will remain, and all of those are in their responsibilities in the past. We didn't add anything to that. It's more of just making sure and give it more purpose so that it actually like serves the youth, because I also think that what was relayed to us in the past, the reason why this position wasn't filled is because they had a hard time getting a law student to take the role.
Representative Greenwald.
Out of curiosity, for the individual who's currently part of the SGE on this role, he has this role.
Is that a parliamentary inquiry or is it a question for the author?
Yes and yes.
As
So-
far as I know, can't representatives not be on the executive board?
There's a Supreme Court, an SG Supreme Court ruling back from when I was a rep that states that there cannot be, there's like a specific legal term for it, but essentially you cannot serve in both the legislative branch and the executive branch unless you first resign your legislative branch position and then apply for an executive branch position, just as kind of like a conflict of interest.
Representative Turgeon.
Hi, quick question. How's the stipend gonna be for this new position? Is it gonna be taken away from your stipends, or is it like a budget thing, or what?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, and kind of what Daryl was talking about like how a lot of these have to go to the Lilly and stuff like that, and the dean of students. A lot of stipend things are kind of happening at the dean of students level, so kind of the implementation of if this position were to get a stipend, which we hope, you know, they would be compensated for their labor, would kind of have to be done on the implementation side to make sure they're getting an equitable amount as well.
And also in terms of the budget, we still plan on going forward with the community working group, and we're gonna get student input in that to see if they feel as if this role should get a stipend or not. It's all gonna be an open line of communication to make sure that the final budget, if it includes a stipend for the Attorney General, is something that has support.
And just 2 quick points to that. The first point is, I believe Attorney General is not listed in the Constitution, just the code, so I could be wrong, but I don't think they're eligible for the stipend. Secondly, if they are eligible for the stipend,
The time has expired. Before I entertain any motions, I will just interject here and just briefly say that right now we are not on the amendment. So I would kindly ask, it is up to you all, but I would kindly ask that you make questions relevant to the bill itself, and then once, if the amendment is introduced, then ask questions relevant to the amendment itself. Representative Pena.
I make a motion to extend time by 3 minutes by unanimous consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? Sorry. Are there any questions? Representative Galadio.
Representative Collazo Lebrard, sorry, this is still about the amendment, but this is something that I overlooked earlier.
So one of the requirements for the Attorney General is providing general counsel to any student of the University of Texas Austin system. Whenever any student is accused of any violation of rule or regulation, do you think someone that is not a law student would be able to fill that role? That seems like a pretty heavy burden for someone to fill. It's like also attending multiple classes and part of an executive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I absolutely think they could. And especially our candidate here today is very well knowledgeable about like rules, procedures, both the university levels and higher levels. So I think absolutely they could. It's just like any role, you know, it's always a balance, right? Now we have financial director managing like hundreds of $1,000 budgets, and like, you know, one could argue that like, is that something a student could do, but also as a full-time student? And I would say yes.
Any other questions? Representative Greenwald.
I know there's this not the correct time and maybe it's time for later, but this is more specifically about just the qualifications, their experience and possibly maybe labs.
I'm going to ask that we not, because we're not in appointments right now, and that's going to open up a whole nother can of worms that I'm trying to make sure that we stay focused on the bill itself right now and not on the actual appointment.
It does make a difference though, because if you hear from them and they're a qualified individual, I think myself and others may have less concerns and objections to using the law student clause, and perhaps there's a way to have a conversation that includes their background and decision if they feel comfortable speaking.
Joseph, would you like to speak?
Sure.
I apologize, I missed you. I'm constitutional law, Dr. Perry, but I'd love to take your question.
Representative Elijah.
So this is in a similar vein to my previous question, and I personally favor the law student requirement, but I just want to make sure that whoever we have to do the position is qualified. Have you ever had any experience representing someone in a legal capacity before?
You mean in a court of law as a bar?
Or not in the court of law, but any representative capacity, given that that's going to be one of your roles as.
I'm going to interject. I'm going to ask that we maybe not like ask the question because we're discussing the bill, not appointments. We're not on.
Then when I see up there, I thought we were asking.
If it's only if it has to do directly with implementing like the amendment.
Well, I thought. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought that was wait. Parliamentary. I thought the only reason he came up there was so we could see if this specific candidate would waive concern about the law student concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I was asking this question.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. So right now, okay. Everyone, hold on. Right now, Q&A has ended. So is there any motion on the floor right now?
Motion to extend Q&A time by 2 minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objection? Seeing none, so ordered. Start. So right now, just again, for clarification, for everyone, so we understand where we are. Mr. Cutler is here to answer questions, but please phrase your questions in the sense that it's relevant to the bill, not the person if they're qualified. Because we're focusing on the bill right now. We're not dealing with appointments. With that being said, are there any questions? Representative Mosley.
Fred Mosley, UI. Do you believe that an interest in constitutional law, maybe taking a few classes, maybe having some experience, do you think that that is a proper replacement for formal legal training in a top law school?
Well, you're looking at someone who is, look, I get it, I'm not a law student. Nevertheless, I have taken several constitutional law courses. I've done youth court, mock trial, I invented debates. Look, so I'm saying I have extensive experience. You heard, the president and vice president, they reached out to legal, they reached out to bar associations and groups of law students, and did not hear any responses. Nevertheless, I do believe that I am qualified. I have extensive knowledge. I've read over the SC Constitution. I've read over the United States Constitution. So yes, I do believe I am qualified.
Any other questions? Representative Mosley.
Fred Mosley, UI. Do you believe that having an intricate understanding of Deaf's law and, actually having formal legal training is necessary for a position that would be responsible for legally representing student government when discussing with administration or in other capacities.
I do believe so, because we're not necessarily entering a court of law, we're discussing with UT's team of lawyers at best. So to require me or to believe that I must be a law student, if I'm representing myself, is far fetched. UT's lawyers were all over January's impeachment, January's proceedings of, prior something. And if something were that dire, I would not be the only one representing UT in a court of law, and I'll bet you.
All right, I'm sorry, the time has now expired. Just so everyone's aware, like, take a look at the time. It's currently 8:33. And we have not moved past the bill, nor have we confirmed any of the other executive appointments. So let's just all remember that, where we are, because after, like, I think 11 o'clock, they were going to kick us out of it. So just letting everyone know that. So with that being said, yes, Representative Holman.
Rep. Holman, UI, I motion to extend Q&A by 3 minutes by hand vote.
Is there a second? Any objections? I'm sorry. All those in favor of hand vote or of extending Q&A for 3 minutes, raise your hand. All those in favor of extending Q&A for 3 minutes, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Please keep your hand raised. I'm going to start over. Remember 17. Okay, please lower your hands. All those not in favor of extending Q&A, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Anyone on Zoom not in favor? 10. Anyone not in favor? Okay. Any abstentions? Okay. By 17:10, 0 abstentions. Q&A is extended by 3 minutes. With that being said, are there any questions?
Can I speak going off what was mentioned earlier?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I just remind everyone that we are not voting on the Attorney General amendment right now. We're just discussing questions regarding the bill itself, the new one. So I don't want us to end Q&A and people have like questions or reservations against the bill itself. I don't know if an amendment will still be introduced about the Attorney General position. By the way, we're not on that right now. So if you have any questions about, again, the bill itself, this is the perfect time. And if not, then we can move on and then potentially discuss it.
Point of order. Is it possible to motion for a 2-minute recess so that I can have a conversation with him to ask about language concerns? And then we can move forward.
Parliamentary inquiry, yes, we can. Recess does take precedent over everything else. If a motion to recess is entered now, yes, that would be permissible.
Representative Ringwald, rather, is it a large motion to recess for 2 minutes
By what vote count?
by unanimous consent?
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any objections? Seeing none, we're recessed for 2 minutes. Point of order, that this is not like permission. Okay, recess is over. Recess is over. As of right now, we are currently on AB1, the substitute version. We are not in Q&A. We're not, right now, we're in nothing, but we're on the bill. So does anyone want to extend Q&A, offer any amendments, move the previous question? Are there any motions on the floor right now by a representative?
Motion to previous question.
Do you want to withdraw that?
JK.
Representative Santali.
Okay, Representative Sinafami, College of Natural Sciences, I move to amend the ABO1, the substituted version, and remove sections 3 and 26, which effectively moves quorum back to 2/3.
Is that amendment in writing and sent to me?
I will do that right now.
While we wait on you to, well, can you withdraw that amendment? So another amendment can be made while you do that?
Yes, I can withdraw
Okay.
my previous amendment.
Okay, do you want to switch?
Sure. Avery, if you can just send it to me like an email.
I have another.
Okay, so right now, the speaker is introducing an amendment.
Okay. So I have an amendment relating to, I moved to insert the transition guidelines amendment that I sent in Slack earlier today. I just moved to introduce that, I guess.
Okay, so right now, the speaker or Representative Roberts has introduced an amendment, the transition amendment that was sent in Slack earlier. So the author of the amendment will have 3 minutes to explain said amendment. Okay, so keep it 3 minutes. 1 second. So now he's just talking about his transition guideline amendment.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so the amendment is just.
Wait, what?
Oh. Yeah, so the amendment is just about establishing transition guidelines going forward between new administrations, requiring that all of our like social media sites, emails, all that stuff is put onto the University of Texas email address rather than Gmail. This will make sure that if a past administration decides to keep all the passwords, that this stuff can be transferred over more seamlessly. This also requires all outgoing officers to train new officers who are coming into the role. It just essentially smoothens our transition going forward. And this affects both the executive branch and future speakers going forward. And I mean, technically maybe it affects chief justice, but yeah. That's it.
Okay, the speaker.
Did we ever vote on the substitute amendment?
Yes, yeah, we did.
What?
Are you talking about the one we worked on this weekend? Yeah, so that's replaced it now. So right now, the only difference is instead of the one with the judicial reforms and the.
Did we vote on that already?
Yeah, we did earlier. That was a long time ago, I know.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, hold on. So Representative Roberts introduced an amendment clarifying the transition guidelines. He said this is in the Slack. So right now we'll move into a 2-minute Q&A period. So you can ask as many questions pertaining to the transition guidelines amendment. Any questions? No questions. Okay, seeing none, the speaker will now entertain a motion. If you make a motion.
And the
Representative Thambi.
College of Natural Sciences, I motion to have recess for 2 minutes by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Any objections? Hearing none, so ordered.
2/3 to a simple majority, so essentially keeping it at 2/3. Are there any questions for that amendment? Three.
I have a motion.
Okay, Representative Tristan.
Representative Stanley White, Representative Stanley, you mentioned that you've been having a lot of conversations regarding this section of the piece of legislation. Did these conversations arise at the meeting this past Saturday that was invited to all representatives? And so did you bring up this amendment at that meeting?
No, I was not able to attend that. I had previous events. I definitely think that's something that we need to talk about going forward. Assembly is not working on weekends. That was something that previous speakers have prioritized. And additionally, I've talked to many reps today, but if you have a dissenting opinion, I'd also like that to hear.
Any other questions? Representative Tristan.
Representative Stanley White, last semester we had to disband this assembly twice, I believe, because of lack of quorum. Would you agree that some representation is better than no representation?
I would say 50% is just simply not enough. As we've seen, like, we obviously have very contentious resolutions, and I think it requires that more of us are here. I do understand the idea that it's better to meet than not meet at all, but when we're making changes to our student body of 50,000 students, I think we need more than 20 people in the room. Yeah.
I have something else to add to that.
No, because, sorry, not at the time, it's not in order. It's not in order because the amendment is propositioned by,
Like, who's sponsored?
well, then that's fine.
Representative Wilson, yes. But even in our assembly board meetings, which a lot of you guys weren't able to attend, I was a dissenting opinion on quorum changing. And I think that we're not addressing the root of the problem by making it 50%. I've said this before. The root of the problem is that people felt that they were disincentivized to come to assembly. They lost faith. And that's where the problem. We're not, and lowering quorum is just going to make that worse. So you're going to have the same people who are in power come over and over again. Like the people who know parliamentary procedure, not the people who are actually representing student power.
Representative Pena.
Representative Cola, do you all have any instances, this legislative group, the 116, in which we have not met quorum?
No, we have met quorum every single time.
Thank you.
Representative Holman.
It's a motion.
Oh, well,
I motion to.
are there,
Sorry, I motion to end Q&A and do the previous question by unanimous consent.
is there a second?
Second.
You said unanimous consent? Right. Are there any objections to the previous question? Ending debate. Are any objections to that? Seeing none, so ordered. Representative Holman.
I motion to approve the Senate amendment by unanimous consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any objection? There is an objection. Representative Holman.
Rep. Holman, UI, I move to accept the Senate amendment by unanimous consent. Or sorry, I vote, my bad.
Okay.
It's been a long night.
All those in favor of accepting the Senate amendment that will restore quorum back to 2/3, please raise your hand. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can everyone please take their seats? I'm having a hard time counting. Okay, so all those in favor of restoring quorum back to 2/3, please raise your hand.
At Sadio as well. They were all there.
Okay, all those in favor, okay, you can all lower your hand. All those in favor of not taking quorum out, please raise your hand. Okay, are there any abstentions? By a vote of 24 yes, 3 noes, 1 abstention, the Senate amendment is accepted.
Say it again, 24 what?
24 yes, 3 no. Okay. Are there any motions on the floor at this time relating to the AB1 substitute version? As of right now, the only amendments accepted are.
How do we introduce an amendment?
One second. Right now, the only things that have been put into the bill is removing the quorum, moving it back to 2/3, and the transition guidelines. Are there any other amendments on the floor right now?
Another amendment, like,
If anyone introduces an amendment. The chair will entertain any motion.
Can I motion to recess? Okay, Rep. Holman, I motion to recess for 2 minutes by unanimous consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? Seeing none, so order, 2-minute recess. Okay. Calling us back in. The chair will entertain any motion on the floor right now.
Order in the court.
Regular order. The chair will entertain any motion. Representative Greenwald.
Motion to amend AB1 to read Attorney General may be a law student, LBJ student, or an undergraduate student of, excuse me, I typed that wrong, so bear with me. Attorney General may be a law student, LBJ student, or a specified undergraduate student. Specific undergraduates may include junior, senior, or super senior students studying government and pre-law.
Do you have the section number of the code rule that you're trying to amend?
No, I do not.
I would recommend that you let Representative Tristan introduces amendment, and then make an amendment to his amendment, which already has a section, all that specified.
Whatever works for you is fine.
Is that agree with everyone? Any questions with that? Okay.
I can just give him the section, is that fine?
You could, but you would have to, you're adjusting the whole entire thing. It would be so much easier just to amend your amendment.
Okay. Well, then I guess.
Okay. Will you withdraw that for now?
Sure, I withdraw.
Deputy Statewide, I introduced my amendment as Speaker Robert Overton.
Okay. There is an amendment on the floor relating to the Attorney General. We will enter 2 minutes of Q&A, or 2 minutes to introduce the amendment. Does anyone want to move to waive that?
Yes, I moved to yield my time.
Okay, time has been yielded. Once your Q&A, are there any questions for the amendment? Is there a second? Any objections to closing the Q&A on the Tristan amendment? Seeing none, okay.
Amazing. Motion to amend the Tristan amendment. By unanimous consent.
Okay, there is an amendment on the floor to change, well, here, I'll put it in the Slack so y'all have access to it.
I'll select the better version.
I have it, okay. Do you have a link to your?
I sent it in the Slack already.
Okay, so everyone is aware, regular order. So everyone is aware of what's going on. Tristan's amendment is being amended to read that will make an exception that Representative Greenwald has introduced. Okay. Representative Greenwald, I will give you.
I was made aware of that just recently.
Representative Greenwald.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that in a second, because I think that's important. So.
Representative Greenwald, we're entering 2 minutes to introduce your amendment. We're in regular order right now.
Motion for a 5-minute recess.
Motion for a 2-minute recess.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? Seeing none, to order. Please, okay. The motion at the floor right now is to extend Q&A by, or sorry, extend recess by 5 minutes by unanimous consent. Is there a second? Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're in recess for 5 minutes. retracting here, establishing regular order. Right now, we are on Representative Tristan's amendment. There is an amendment to that amendment right now that is proposed by Representative Greenwald to limit it, to make an exception to the grad student or to the law student requirement. Are there any motions on the floor right now?
Wait, what is, didn't they change it now? What's going on?
We have voted on it. I have not been notified of anything. Huh?
What are we doing right now?
As of right now, we are on his amendment to that amendment.
Have you heard that?
He hasn't publicly said it yet. I think he's gonna, yeah.
Because we recessed.
We can't vote.
The microphone. I can't hear you.
Right, we're not voting yet.
Is Greenwald changing his amendment versus the one that was?
I don't know.
Want me to give this amendment? So, as the amendment currently stands.
Microphone. Microphone. Okay, hey, regular order, please.
Do you want me to give the
Both amendments at once or just
one?
What are you doing?
One has to do with section B, which specifically represents students in Title IX, Title VII discrimination or otherwise. That is an amendment to strike that from the Attorney General's position, which I think is important. I can read you that specifically, and then I think that we can get that out of the way very quickly and then vote on the next one.
Section B of what?
Section B of, I only have a picture of section B. It's the specific duties of the Attorney General.
Outlined where?
Where is it outlined? He's pulling it up.
Section 2.8.
Section 2.8B. Yeah, so motion to amend section 2.8B, which do you need to read what it currently reads?
Is your amendment in writing?
It is, as I so section 2.8B currently allows the Attorney General to represent both an accused or accusing students.
Okay, wait, one second. Okay, so just so we all establish some sense of order, so we understand where we are and we're not getting lost in a bunch of different amendments right now. Right now, we are hearing your amendment to the amendment. You have 2 minutes to introduce that one.
Okay, an amendment to the amendment or an amendment to B?
To his amendment, not that, yeah.
Motion to table that amendment and open discussion on this amendment.
No. Okay, yes, 2 minutes.
By unanimous consent.
Any objections? Okay.
Wait, here. We have 2 minutes.
All right, regular order.
All right, so
Everyone, no. Everyone understand where we are right now. Right now, we are on Representative Tristan's amendment to change the Attorney General rule. What's going on right now is Representative Greenwald is introducing an amendment to change that, right?
To change the role and duties of the Attorney General. Like I said, motion to table discussion on Representative Tristan's amendment until we get the duties of the Attorney General done.
So you're moving to table his amendment?
Yes, temporarily by unanimous consent.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, so ordered. Representative Greenwald.
Motion to open discussion on section 2.
Move to amend section.
Move to amend section 2.08B, which currently allows the Attorney General to represent both accused and accusing students in various proceedings at the university, including but not limited to Title VII, Title IX, and other similar discriminations. So I have written an amendment to that to remove those duties from the Attorney General, because I think the vast majority of us feel that, like, I myself don't feel qualified to do that as a law student. I don't know if the other law student on student government feels qualified to do that. And I think that these people should have adequate representation on both sides. So this is what the new subsection B would read, which says, in university proceedings regarding Title VII or Title IX or other similar proceedings, both the accused and the accusing party are entitled to adequate representation at their hearing. Adequate representation may include a board certified attorney for either or both parties, or at the discretion of the University of Texas at Austin, may include appropriate student legal counsel from the University of Texas School of Law. To clarify what that means, during these proceedings, whether it's a discrimination proceeding or a sexual assault proceeding, or any other similar like criminal proceeding that goes through the school, the person who's representing that individual would not be a student unless that person is specifically accepted and put forward by the University of Texas School of Law, where we have a clinic that deals with Title IX hearings, for example, again, both accused and accusing parties. Yes. I believe that's B actually.
Okay, we're not in Q&A right now.
So B currently reads in any administrative, judicial, or academic proceeding, yada, yada, yada. This is to strike that and replace with what I was saying. Motion to open Q&A for 2 minutes. If anybody has any questions?
So the time has elapsed. We'll now move into Q&A. A 3-minute Q&A period. Are there any questions to this amendment? Representative Hall? Representative Hall? Yep.
Representative Hall from CNS. So what would the purpose of the Attorney General be then, since they're no longer representing people?
To the best of my understanding, and I think somebody else is probably better suited to answer this question, but it sounds like the Attorney General has other duties and responsibilities related to representing student government at the Supreme Court, or dealing with legislative matters, or dealing with other matters related to graduate and undergraduate concerns, as opposed to what would otherwise be criminal matters if not.
If I can quickly add on to that, so in our slide, just because I know it's gonna be kind of like using the follow-up, just gonna flow with legal jargon, I said this slide, in this slide, I said where we're striking, so it's on the very top of page 42, section B, just striking that out. So if you'd like to get for yourself, it's in the slide, top of page 42, section B.
Are there any other questions on that provision or any other concerns?
Are there any other questions to the amendment? Seeing none, the Q&A period will be reclaimed by the speaker. Are there any motions on the floor to this current amendment?
Motion to vote on this amendment.
For the previous question.
What?
I moved the previous question.
Motion to move the previous question.
Is there a second? Is this by unanimous consent?
By unanimous.
Is there any objection to ending debate on the amendment? Any objections? Seeing none?
Regular order.
Okay, regular order, everyone. We are currently voting on this amendment by Representative Greenwald. It's by unanimous consent. So are there any objections to Representative Greenwald's amendment?
Is this we're moving the previous question, not voting on it, right?
Sorry, yes, we're moving the previous question. So we're closing discussion on this. Are there any objections to that? Seeing none, so ordered.
Motion to vote on my amendment.
I move to approve.
I move to approve my amendment by unanimous consent.
Are there any seconds?
Second.
Any objections? Seeing none, so ordered.
Cool, so that's the important one.
Okay, so now we are back on Representative Tristan's amendment. Are there any motions on the floor? Representative Kavanaugh.
Motion to move the previous question on Representative Tristan's amendment.
I object.
I object.
Okay, there is an objection on the floor right now. There's an amendment to amend Representative Tristan's amendment.
Motion
You
to
have-
amend Representative Tristan's amendment by unanimous consent.
Well, hold on, there's an amendment first.
Okay.
So there's 2 minutes to explain your amendment.
Okay, so this second amendment that I just wrote essentially specifies what students would be qualified for this position, with a specific focus on a type of academic background and also age range, because I know that there were concerns about people coming in who are younger and serving in this position without adequate experience. So the amendment as it currently stands, and I'm open to any concerns to adjust that, says the Attorney General must be a law student or an LBJ policy student or a specified undergraduate student. Specific undergraduates may include only junior, senior, or super senior students currently 20 years or of age or older studying government and pre-law, which sort of restricts ability from somebody coming in their first year. Yeah. You have a question?
Okay, hold on. We're now entering Q&A.
All right, well, motion to enter Q&A.
I got it. Are there questions on that amendment right now?
Yes.
Representative Weiss.
Representative Weiss, Communications, why did you guys include the age restriction of 20 if, for example, like they're a late baby, but they are a junior?
That was something that was posed to me like about a minute ago before I put this forward. Basically the concerns that people said were like somebody coming in with a lot of AP credits or coming in with like previous courses that would allow them to be juniors, but don't necessarily have the experience or the maturity level to fill this position. I'm not sure that 20 is the correct age to put it on. Personally speaking, I would have put it at 21. But I know the current candidate is not 21, so out of respect for him after having a conversation.
So I have a follow-up question, would you consider changing it to third, fourth, or fifth year students rather than junior or senior, because you can't qualify by credit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Representative Moore.
Can you read that last part of the amendment again? The part about pre-law or whatever?
Basically, as it currently reads, and I will amend this to say third, fourth, and fifth year students.
Right.
The Attorney General may be a law student, LBJ policy student, or specified undergraduate students. Specified undergraduate students may include only third, fourth, or fifth year students currently studying government or pre-law.
Try to that and replace it with this. Yes. This is, yes, but for B.
Any other questions?
Representative, sorry? Rogers.
So,
I'm sorry, the time has expired. Are there any motions to
Motion
continue?
to extend the question and answer period by 2 minutes by unanimous consent.
Who's saying that?
Second.
Honestly, wait, stop, slow down. Who's saying that? Okay. Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, so ordered. 2 minutes? 2 minutes?
So the student in any major can be pre-law, how does that narrow it down to the body?
That's a great question. I don't have a good answer to it. The reason that I put pre-law is because those students generally will have taken courses that I think better prepare them for the seriousness of some of these issues. The reason that I put over that first amendment is the most serious issues. And then I think that somebody who has experience with reading law in general, or representing somebody from a group of people, those are kind of the skill sets that I think are important in the position as it's currently changed. So it's more about like the skill development and theory about the whole.
I know. But I get really confused. Representative Mosley.
Representative Mosley, now that we've striked section B, what remaining legal responsibilities does the Attorney General have when it comes to representing student government or students?
So again, that's a question that's probably better suited to somebody else, but to the best of my understanding, it's the Attorney General will still provide counsel to all pertinent rules and regulations of the University of Texas and Texas at Austin. They will still provide assistance with legislative drafting and research with members of the General Assembly, and may deal with other associated matters.
Representative Paul.
Representative Paul Stevens. So who would I direct that question to? Like, who would specify that?
Regular order.
Regular order, please. Regular order, please. Please pay attention to the speaker again right now. Thank you.
Can I defer my time to Representative Dunn or to Representative Roberts?
So the time has elapsed for Q&A.
Representative by 2 minutes.
By What vote count?
Unanimous.
Is there a second to extending Q&A by 2 minutes? Any objections? Seeing none, so ordered. You're getting your time.
Motion for a 3-minute recess by unanimous consent.
Is there any objection?
Object.
There is an objection.
Motion for a 3-minute recess by hand vote.
All those in favor of entering recess for 3 minutes, please raise your hand. Okay, everyone, please take a seat because I cannot vote when people are standing. Anyone on Zoom okay with entering a 3-minute recess? Please raise your hand on Zoom. Okay, all right, lower your hands. Anyone opposed to entering a 3-minute recess? Okay, any abstentions? By a vote of 15-5-2, we're in recess for 3 minutes. we are now in Q&A for Representative Greenwald's amendment to Representative Tristan's amendment. I hope that makes sense. I really do. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to continue along with Q&A unless someone makes a motion to end Q&A. Are there any questions at this time for Representative Greenwald?
Is this just Don's amendment or Greenwald's amendment?
Amendment to the amendment.
The amendment to Tristan. Yeah. Okay. So are there any questions to Representative Greenwald's amendment?
Parliamentary inquiry. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, this is the amendment that would say a junior, senior, super senior could occupy this position, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're all.
Okay. Are there any questions right now or any motions on the floor?
Has the amendment been sent in the Slack yet?
I said, yeah.
Okay, I will put in Slack. Okay, the text is below. The chair will recommend that we close Q&A on Representative Tristan or Representative Greenwald's amendment to Representative Tristan. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, so moved. The chair to entertain any motion. Representative Plaza.
Motion to move the previous question on Representative Greenwald's amendment by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Any objections? So ordered. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the amendment to the amendment. Representative Plaza.
Representative Pedraza, motion to accept the amendment by a hand vote.
Okay, there is a request to accept the amendment by hand vote. All those in favor will raise your hand.
This is section one amendment.
Yes, this is for. Okay, all those in favor of Representative Greenwald's amendment, please raise your hand. Yes.
I mean.
To clarify, it specifically says Attorney General may be a law student, LBJ student, or specified undergraduate student. Specific undergraduates may include third, fourth, or fifth year students currently studying government or free law.
Oh, wait, to be fair, you said the wrong language in the chat. Because he amended his original language.
No, this is to clarify.
It's just
one
what it
based on- That's already passed. Yeah, that's already been stricken from the Attorney General. That's why I said I wasn't getting important one out of the way. Like, purportedly.
Okay.
What are we voting on?
Check the Slack.
Okay. So we're currently voting on the amendment I just placed in Slack. That is the amendment that is changing Representative Tristan's overall amendment, section E, right? Yes, E? E? Section E?
Yeah. That's the one.
Okay, changing section E. We are currently voting on that.
Whatever section it is.
Representative Bailey, I don't know what the right word is to ask this question, but do we have to later vote on like their amendment as a whole? So this is just to say we want to amend his amendment.
Right.
And then we will vote on his amendment.
Right, that's the next order.
The new one, right?
Okay,
Thank you.
so with that being said, all those in favor of accepting Representative Greenwald's amendment, please raise your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Anyone on Zoom accepting the amendment? Okay, you can lower your hand. Anyone not in favor of accepting this amendment? Are there any abstentions? Okay. By a vote of 20 yes, 2 no, 0 abstentions, the amendment is adopted. Okay. The chair will entertain any motion.
Motion to move the previous question on Representative Tristan's vote by roll call vote.
By a roll call. Okay.
No, this last question, no. Yeah.
No,
You said move on to.
Okay, I was wrong. Motion to previous question by unanimous consent.
Second. Is there a second to moving the previous question?
Second.
This is to vote on the bill. This is to close discussion.
Yeah, second.
Any objections to closing discussion on the Tristan amendment as amended by Representative Green? Is there any objection? Seeing none, so ordered. Okay, the chair will entertain any motion.
So, point of parliamentary inquiry.
There is a parliamentary inquiry.
Just to make sure. So right now we're about to, if I make the motion, we can vote on the entire bill with.
No, the amendment.
The amendment.
Okay. All good.
Okay, is there any motion?
Motion to move the previous question on.
We've already done that.
Vote on Representative Tristan's amendment by a roll call.
Roll call.
Second.
Objection.
Well, you can object.
Oh.
Okay.
And then I want this specific motion to be a hand vote. So to vote on this hand, this. No, roll call for the actual amendment.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Okay, yeah,
Okay. We are voting on this amendment as amended. So everyone is aware, regular order. For the people in the back. For the people in the back, so everyone's aware of what's going on. We are voting at the amendment. The overall amendment as amended by Representative Greenwald. This is a roll call vote. The clerk will call the roll.
I will. I need to say mine. I forgot to get the mic back.
Can I object to all
An objection is not in order, I'm sorry.
Did you say that?
What did you have to say? Okay.
It's just an extended period of time.
Okay. Are you ready? I'm to call the roll.
The clerk will call the roll.
All right, Representative Adams.
Yes.
Representative Bailey.
No.
Representative Balakrishnan. Sorry. Oh, hold on. Technical difficulty. Okay. Representative Banjara.
Yes.
He's not here. Representative Sindrick.
Yes.
Representative Klassen.
No.
Representative Boyaso.
No.
Representative Kudomanos.
No.
Representative Feinstein. Representative Fernandez.
No.
Representative Fearman. Representative Getachew. Representative Gonzalez. Representative Greenwald. Representative Holomack.
Yes.
Representative Hayes.
Abstain.
Representative Hoshin.
No.
Holman, I vote yes. Representative Fidel, sorry.
No.
Representative Jung Har, sorry. Okay, that's it. Representative McGill. Representative Moore.
No.
Representative Mosley.
No.
Representative Pena.
No.
Representative Representative Ryan. Representative Sanchez. Representative Senathambi. Representative Tristan.
Yes.
Representative Turgeman.
She votes no.
Can she send that to me in email? Just to confirm? Representative Villanueva.
No.
Representative Weiss. Representative Whittington.
No.
Representative Zizak. Sorry.
No.
Representative Hernandez. Representative Daniel.
No.
Representative Hancock.
No.
Representative Neptune. Okay, and I'm sorry, I don't have the names of the new rep.
Representative Paul.
Okay, so Representative Hall. Okay,
Representative Rogers.
Representative Rogers.
No.
Representative, Win.
Win.
No.
All right, so by a total vote of 20 no, 7. Yeah, 20, no, it's a yeah, so by a total vote of.
Okay, by 20 noes, 7 yeses, and 0%, 4 abstentions, the amendment is not passed. That cancels out everything prior. So, as that being said, we are now can move the previous question on the bill as a whole. Hold on, let me just explain where we are. The previous question. So right now, so everyone knows where we are, what's in this bill, because it's not reflected yet, but it will be when we get past that. Right now, we have put quorum back to where it was. We've inserted the transition guidelines. Am I missing anything else?
That's it. That's all.
That is it. That is where the bill currently is.
But we've also amended.
No,
No,
that was nullified.
that's what?
Nullified by this vote that we just took.
The B, part B.
Was nullified by the vote that we just took.
What do you? These were separate
That
amendments.
was separate. This was amending.
Yes, the
Adrian's
attorney
amendment.
general position has already been amended specifically based on removing
Separate of the,
section B.
They're gonna kick us out.
Oh, great.
lovely. Okay.
What do we do?
Okay, so
Wow.
yeah, so the striking B passed, but this.
We
this
can-
one's not.
Okay.
Wait.
So we can, okay, so just so we all are aware, we can quickly pass this if that's the sense of this assembly. Is that the sense?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Let's do it.
So, well, then we can adjourn and we'll come back next week. I'm so sorry for the executive team for this. Okay, all that being said, are there any motions on the floor right now?
Rep. Holman, UI, I move the previous question on 81 by unanimous consent.
Second. Is there a second? Or, okay, next motion.
Rep. Holman, UI, I move to approve 81 by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Second. Are there any objections? AB1 is approved, so.
So he's gotta be able to take everything down here. Okay. It would be out. Yeah, right.
Nobody cares.
Okay, okay,
To do my bill.
okay. So the,
Hey, yo,
So-
hold on. There are people that work here,
So
and the guy who
there-
gets off at 10, we can't.
okay, regular, okay. So we are going to need to adjourn because they need to shut down the building. What I would recommend is that we meet next week, unfortunately.
What if we do move it to Zoom entirely right now?
It is 9:38, it's 9:44, and there are other representatives, and other representatives have to do other things. I would recommend that we respect representative time and do this next week.
Not exactly what we've been doing the whole time.
I understand that, but it's 9:43 right now. Okay. I will make a motion, I will recommend a motion that we adjourn with the intent to meet next week, 7 o'clock, to finish up everything else. Is there any second?
Can I make an announcement real quick?
Are there any objections?
Object.
There is an objection.
It's finals week. No one wants to be next week. I don't want to. be.
Well, I will think about that.
Oscar last semester, and we said that we could just go outside to do this. I don't know how long it's going to take, but.
Yeah, because we didn't do it
Do you all just want to go outside?
Why can't we just go outside?
We have to leave the room.
Do we want to go outside? Is that?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. All right, everyone, so you're aware what's going on. We are going to continue the meeting outside. We're going to be back for 10 minutes.
Oh, well, then it's good for me then.
I don't know if someone's still listening to the Zoom, but if y'all are planning on doing appointments outside, how would you like to do that?
Okay, people on Zoom, just to update. People on Zoom, just to update you, we are moving the meeting outside because they've locked down. So we're, I guess, going to pursue these other bills. I know this is a very unique situation. I apologize. We're in recess for 1 minute. I cannot hear anything.
You can't.
I know, Mackie, you're trying to speak. Can you type it? I can't hear you. No, there's none of it. There's none of it. We're not being. We're gonna say the hallway. One, because of COVID, we're not doing a conference. Yeah, let's also.
Our drinks to pass.
No one.
There's tables out here on this side. Let's just go there.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay, so we're going outside now. So sorry.
I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you're planning on swearing people in, I'm gonna need to be able to be heard.
Okay. We're out, again, y'all, we're outside now, so we're gonna continue. I hope that we just pass these bills and then we can, turn. This is unprecedented. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna sit down so y'all can see me. Okay. Are you still recording? I sent Joe something like that. Oh, okay, okay. People were like, Joe's eating, Joe's eating. No. All right, regular order. Okay. We're now going to move on to AR. Next slide. Okay. Just so we know, we're on microphone. Oh, I can even. So people know like what we're talking about, what's going on Zoom. If you're introducing a bill, I'm gonna need you to get closer so you can talk so people on Zoom can hear what's going on. I don't know if we have quorum, but it looks like we may. Yeah, so I don't know, unless someone calls a quorum call, but yeah. So just so we're all aware of what's going on, we're now moving on to AR. Yeah, I'm gonna read that. Okay, we're now on AR7 in support of decriminalizing and prohibition on no-knock warrants in the city of Austin. That's being fast-tracked. Yeah. So there is a 1 minute fast track. I'm going to let 1 minute to explain why we're fast tracking this. 1 minute, go ahead. Okay. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just getting a timer. Okay. So there's a motion, or there is a fast track here. Are there any questions for that? We're gonna just move a little quicker. So no questions. Okay. Make a motion.
Motion to fast track unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none, so ordered. Now you introduce the bill.
Okay. No. Okay. Yeah. Right now we're doing AR7 in support of marijuana decriminalization, prohibition on no-knock warrants. This is in support of City of Austin Proposition A, which would eliminate enforcement of low-level marijuana offenses and ban use of no-knock warrants by Austin Police. Everyone likes marijuana decriminalization, and no-knocks are pretty bad.
Early voting's already started. Early voting goes through the 3rd. You can vote at the FAC and the PCL, and the election day is May 7th.
Okay. Okay, we're now enter Q&A period. Again, for the sake of time, I would ask that we waive this, but are there any questions to waive? Is there any objection? So ordered. Okay. Motion, please. Is there a second? Any objections? Seeing none? There's an objection. Okay, there's a. Yeah, okay. All those in favor of moving the previous question on this, please raise your hand. All those, okay, lower them. Are all those that oppose, please raise your hand. Any abstentions? Okay. 1 second, I need to write this down. which of course I don't have my backpack now. Can someone have a pen and paper? You don't have a pen? I have a pen.
Can someone write that down? Okay, he's got a pen, never mind.
Now I gotta get my podium.
Okay.
Do I make a motion?
Thank you so much. Okay, the motion to end previous question has been approved. Yes, 0 nay, 1 abstention. Chair will entertain any motion on the floor.
AR, what is it? AR7 by hand vote.
Okay, all those in favor of the resolution, please raise your hand. Can everyone go right here just so it's easier for me to count, please? Make sure for constitutional purposes. Once I like point at you, just lower your hand, please. Lower your hand. Diego, lower your hand. 8, Gerald, lower your hand. 9, Swika, lower your hand. Adrian, lower your hand. Lower your hand. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19, lower your hand. 20, 21, 22. Anyone on Zoom? In favor of this resolution, please raise your hand. Okay. All those opposing AR7, please raise your hand.
Order.
Okay. Any abstentions to AR7? By a vote of 25 yes, 0 no's, 1 abstention, AR7 is approved. All right, we'll now move on to AR8 in opposition to the Hanover Company proposal to the demolition of the LGBTQIA plus community spaces on the 4th Street. That's a fast track being requested. The authors will explain their fast track. 1 minute. Okay, any questions for that?
Motion to approve fast track by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Any objection? Seeing none, so moved. We will now enter 3 minutes of explaining the bill.
Just hold your time.
That's not in order. Sorry, our rules don't allow that. We don't have any suspension of the rules in here.
Motion to move the previous question by unanimous consent.
Is there any objection? Okay, let's enter Q&A. Let's backtrack. Is there any objection to me skipping the introduction of the bill? Seeing none. Okay, we'll enter Q&A. 5 minutes of Q&A. Okay, Representative Weiss, what's your question?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Representative Holman, or Representative Mosley. Well, hold on, wait, there's a 2-question rule. So is there any other questions? Okay.
You know, students here at UT Austin, there's a lot of them. I think that they should have a place to go where they can embrace themselves and support.
And I just want to say, like, you can't. You know,
Oh, okay, wait, we can't. Okay. Okay, are there any other questions? Representative Hayes.
The best way to convince them is to argue that it is a culturally and architecturally significant building. So in your email that you send, like opposition, just make sure to emphasize that it's culturally and historically significant. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Representative Mosley.
Historical landmarks, that's the discussion that we're simply in support of keeping it. How they. The also.
Okay, any other questions? Representative Rogers. Okay, okay. Representative Mosley.
Rep. Holman, I motion to end Q&A by hand vote.
Is there, okay. All those in favor of ending Q&A, the Q&A period, please raise your hand.
Ending Q&A so we can more.
Anyone on Zoom in favor of ending Q&A? Okay, please hold your hand. All those not in favor of ending Q&A, please raise your hand. Any abstentions? 21 yes, 1 no, 0 abstentions. We're ending Q&A. Representative Holman. Is there a second? Any objection? Seeing none, so moved. What?
I move to approve ARA by unanimous consent.
Okay, is there any objection? There's an objection.
Yeah. Rep. Holman, I move to approve AR 8 by hand vote.
Okay. All those in favor of approving AR 8, please raise your hand.
You're taking it to Twitter. I think that's.
Anyone on Zoom in favor of approving AR 8? Okay. All right, lower your hand. Are those opposing AR 8, please raise your hand. Okay. Any abstentions to AR 8? Hey, regular order. How are you voting? Okay. By a vote of 24 yes, 1 no, 1 abstention, AR 8 is approved. Okay, we're now moving forward with AR 9 in support of honoring Student Government Advisor Dave DeSauer. there is a fast track requested.
Hi, everyone. David, our advisor. I want to go home. I have a test to do.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor of approving the fast track, is there any objections? Seeing none, so moved.
Okay, I yield my time to the chair. No need to explain it. We'd love Dave if you help us.
Okay, now entering Q&A. Are there any questions?
Nothing controversial.
Any objections? Seeing none. Any objections? Seeing none, so moved.
Representative Uwad, I move to approve AR 9 by unanimous consent.
Any objections? Seeing none. AR 8, AR 9 is
Executive
approved.
board time.
Hold on. Okay. We're now moving on to executive appointments. I would recommend that we do not continue with this as, I mean, the Chief Justice is here, but there is no time. I mean, we're all fine?
Yes, let's do it. We either do it now or we do it sometime in the summer. So let's get it over with. Sorry. We made a motion at the beginning to table executive appointments after new business. Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, I will say this. I will give you this disclaimer. I would recommend that we go through a more normal process to slow down and really vet candidates, but if y'all want to go through, we can. I would recommend that, but it's y'all's choice. We're all
Question. Yeah, we're just gonna call a special session for that. That's fine.
So are we fine with proceeding
No,
then?
for-
Are we fine with proceeding?
Do it.
Okay. Well, I know, I understand. So, like, because we're not really in a formal setting at this point anymore. I'll just say, yeah. Yeah, one second. Just because it's already 10:09 and I'm trying to respect other people's time. Okay, then. Sure. Well, I cannot until we executive oversight.
Okay, I was part of the executive.
Yeah, okay. Hold on. We're getting into your executive, so the executive oversight is going to explain what's going on.
Okay, so it was me, Avery, Kevin, we just had in all the interviews, everything was fair, no, everything was fair, and not biased, we love them, everything was great.
Yeah, same questions were asked of each position.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Okay, with that being said, we'll go ahead and move forward with the nomination for the Chief of Staff, Patrick Chacon.
Hold your time.
Before we do this, can y'all hear me or do I need to actually
You can
like
do it.
run out there?
What are you, hold on, what are you asking?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to hear something. I'm not gonna vote on it just like blindly. That's crazy. I know y'all didn't read that stuff. Be honest. Yeah. But this is what you've already voted on.
Well, there's Q&A as well.
It's either 10 minutes or special questions. That's it. And now we're getting into major transparency.
Okay. There you go, Patrick.
All right, 1 second. There is a motion on the floor, Representative Mosley. That is something that can be done, yes. Okay, there's a motion. There's a motion to table all executive appointments by a hand vote. All those in favor of that motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So we vote on them at a later time.
Okay, we are on a motion right now. There's no debating. Okay, for yes, or yes, for the table. Anyone against tabling? Two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. Any abstentions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On Zoom, for those in favor of tabling the appointments, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Gerald. So that means the motion. Okay, Eric, I'm gonna do it. This is the table.
Hey, real quick, can y'all hear me
With the speaker.
over Zoom?
Wait, everyone. 1 second, 1 second. Yes, Chief Justice, or Justice, right, 1 second.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me over Zoom?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to check because if I'm swearing people in, I need to be able to be.
Oh,
heard.
yeah. I can hear you. Just 1 second.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Here. I break the tie.
Hey, everyone, right now it's 8:07. Kevin's about to break the time. No question.
They've been here all night.
Please, someone request for a vote verification. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna actually physically get up in like division. All those in favor, thank you. All those in favor of agreeing to table this, we're gonna do a vote verification. All those in favor of agreeing to table this, please go here. All those opposed, please go there. Stay here. So, if you want to table, go here. If you want to abstain, go. If you want to vote no, go there. If you want to abstain, go right here. All right, come here. Are you abstaining? You're abstaining? You're abstaining? Yes.
Can we do special session?
Yes. So you're abstaining? Are you abstaining? Yes. Are you abstaining? I need to know.
I'm abstaining.
Okay. Abstaining. Stop. You're opposing. You're opposing. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Hey. All right. I'm counting. He's not emailed me. Okay, on Zoom. If you're wanting to abstain to table, please raise your hand. Okay. I'm going to come back in a second. I'm going to count the votes physically.
You have to let
gonna go. We also have I would rather have
Well, we have to count quorum now. There's a request to count quorum. Okay, sorry, I have to break the vote now because there is a quorum count being requested. So we're gonna count quorum. If you are here, please raise your hand. Ainsley, are you here?
Yes.
their own amendment, yeah.
Yeah. The roll call set up? Is the roll call set up?
Are we doing quorum right now?
Please.
So perhaps this
Okay, y'all can lower your hands. We're gonna do, I can't count accurately. I'm gonna do a roll call.
roll call for quorum.
Yeah. Gerald, where's the roll call? All right, everyone, we're gonna do a roll call vote because I can't count y'all because everyone's moving. We're counting quorum by roll call.
Representative Adam. This is a quorum call. No, just to see how many players.
So just say here. No.
Okay, Representative Bailey. Representative Balakrishnan.
Here.
Representative Banjara.
Here.
Here.
Rep Cannon.
Can I see?
All right. Rep
You can
Sindrin.
reach out to me.
Here.
Okay. Rep Klassen. Rep Boyaso. Rep Kudamanos. Rep Feinstein. Rep Fernandez. Rep Bierman. Huh? Fernandez? No, okay. Rep Bierman. Rep Getachew. Rep Gonzalez. Rep Greenwald. Rep Holomack. Rep Hayes. Rep Hoshing. Rep Holman here. Rep Giadel. Rep John. Okay. Rep
Wait,
Gill.
no.
He's on the phone. He's eating breakfast.
Is he currently on the phone? Well, as of right now.
Rep Miguel. Is Miguel on Zoom?
I don't see.
Is Miguel on Zoom?
Who?
Miguel?
Miguel, are you here? Well, she needs to verbally say something. No, no. Miguel, Representative Miguel, are you here?
All right, Representative Moore. Rep Mosley. Rep Pena. Roberts.
Here.
Ryan. Sanchez. Sinatombi. Stan.
Here.
Tershman. Villanueva. Rep Wise. Rep Whittington.
Here.
1 second. Dazak. Sorry. Here. Yeah. Rep Hernandez. Rep Daniel.
Here.
Representative Daniel, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
In the morning, I've been on campus for 12 hours.
Hold on.
I want to go home.
Rep Hancock.
Here.
Oh
my God, this is.
Rogers. Paul.
Representative Neptune, are you here? Hold on.
Yes, I'm here.
Representative Daniel.
Okay, so by a vote of 30.
Wait.
Okay, well, we have quorum. Yay! It's 30. Yeah, we have 30.
Okay. We're now going to move to the tabling of the appointment. I'm going to recommend, the chair recommends that we do a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Okay, well, so right now, wait, what are we voting on?
We are voting to table all appointments.
Okay, did y'all get that? Right now, we're about to vote to table appointments. So vote yes to the table, vote no otherwise.
Okay.
Adams. Bailey. Balakrishnan. Balakrishnan. You want to vote to table? We're voting. Okay, we're voting to table the Rep Banjara.
Yes.
You voted yes.
Rep Cannon. Rep Sandre.
Wait, don't count the price. I need to get a process.
He's on the phone. I heard him.
Well, I need to see it. The rules say I need to see it.
Okay. Sandre.
No.
Can you tell?
What is this vote?
How did you vote?
No.
No to table?
Yeah.
No to table.
Clausen. Rep Kojako. No. Rep Kudamanos. Feinstein. Hernandez. Stearman. Getachew.
Thank you.
Gonzalez. Greenwald.
Yep.
Halamek. Hayes. Koshing. Coleman. No. Giedel. Yes. Yes, got it. Rep Dunhar.
I need to see that, so don't count.
Miguel. Zachary. Moore. Mosley. Pena. Roberts. Ryan. Sanchez. I can be louder. Sinatombi. Easton. Tershman. Villanueva. Weiss. Whittington. Hernandez.
Oh, wait, hold on. Daniel, how do you vote? Yes or no to table?
Yes, to table.
Daniel, Rep Daniel, yes to table.
Hancock. Neptune. Hold.
Slow down. Wait, they're on Zoom. Representative Neptune, how do you vote to table?
Yes to table.
Yes to table.
No. Rogers. Okay, so.
Wait, hold on. How was a Representative Cannon recorded?
And like, as long as we're all like, right? And they've been waiting, I think they're fully ready to do the whole thing. And I think after that. I don't rush.
Hello? I vote up to yes. 14, no disabled, 5 abstentions. We will continue with the appointments. Quorum is present, we'll continue.
Can I say something?
Keep it back, Patrick.
Slow down. Stop. 1 second. 1 second.
Can I say something? Like to everyone, what are you trying to say? I'm just trying to say, I don't want it to be rushed. And if people want to ask their questions, I don't want people to feel like we're trying to rush these appointments through. But I'm also saying they've been here and I want to see people go through the full process now. Does that make sense?
Representative Mosley. I'm not going to allow any motion to delay. I'm not going to entertain any motions to recess with the intent of delaying any sort of action. Why are you recessing? Why?
Can I reduce their speaking time to 1 minute apiece to quick answer questions?
Hold on. So there is a motion to recess on the floor right now. How long? A 2-minute recess. By what vote count? By hand vote. All those in favor of entering a 2-minute recess, please raise your hand. So all those in favor of entering a recess, please raise your hand. Okay. Please lower your hands. All those against recessing for 2 minutes, raise your hand.
The Hill says this is going on long enough.
Any abstentions? All right, we're at a 2-minute recess.
If you have a question, oh, ask. All right, guys. Yeah, that is not.
Okay, okay. All right, recess is over. Is there any motion on the floor? Any motion? Can you speak up?
For next week, it'd be next Tuesday. Same time. Same normal time. I'm running to the bathroom real fast.
Right now, we just exited recess and we made the motion to continue discussion. So I think
Yes. I am like before I run to the bathroom. I am a close recess.
Patrick. We have already moved to table. I'm not going to entertain another tabling motion. Well, did you?
Can you just, we could have already just done the full vetting process with full questions by the time we've spent talking about doing that.
you already did a motion.
I'm not going to entertain a motion table because we've already discussed this.
My motion goes no.
It will need to come from someone else.
Someone make a motion.
Can you text it? Can you text it? Okay. I don't know if we make a vote. Okay. 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 Patrick.
Am I able to make a motion?
Yes. You say all that? Okay. We're going to enter into appointments for staff. 3 minutes. Whenever you're ready.
I apologize, it's too dark outside, so you're gonna have to see me in my glasses. All right. Good evening, everybody. I hope you all are doing great, even though we're probably not. This evening, as we near the end of this semester, and even closer to closing the door on another semester, and hopefully this long assembly meeting. My name is Patrick Chacon. I am a second-year political communications major and government minor. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am your nominee for Chief of Staff. Before my nomination, I have served in many positions found here in student government. For example, I have served as a social media coordinator for the Hook the Boat agency my freshman year. Oh yeah. I served as a head of circuiting and outreach under the previous communications director, and have served as the director of executive communications under both previous chief of staffs. All in all, I've made my footprint known here in student government, and my ascension only continues here tonight. I would describe myself a number of ways: determined, driven, creative, and honest. However, if you ask any of my close friends, they would probably throw in funny, outgoing, loud, and probably a super annoying person to watch sports. But if anything, I'm sure they would agree with me saying that I am extremely loyal. Someone who will always be there for you. Someone who will ensure that every person has a vote and has a voice at the table. And someone who knows that even when times get hard, being accountable is home base. I have a work ethic that is unmatched to most. A competitive mindset that always has me competing against myself, and a passion for helping and uplifting those who are the most marginal in our communities, that I will work night and day to get that hard work done. I'm excited and honored to be nominated by President Whelan and Vice President Nistel, who I don't believe is here. And if I have the opportunity to serve you as Chief of Staff, it would be the honor of my life. And I will work relentlessly for the UT Austin and the broader Austin community. You have my word. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to enter Q&A. Are there any questions for the nominee? Representative.
You're closer to this. Yeah, you got it. 100%. That's a very valid question. Like I said, being accountable is home base. It's no surprise that I served under the previous communications team and the previous chief of staff team. As someone with a unique perspective who has seen the flaws and the errors done, coming into this administration, I know how to correct those errors. I was a very outspoken person during those times. You can probably ask anybody. I may have had the lowest position in that group, but I mean, I was very critical of what we did. I saw myself as being someone who wasn't going to quit on the broader UT Austin community. And I saw myself as someone who can keep that team accountable and someone who can make sure that they don't go too far off the rails. And as someone who is going to come into this position, like I mentioned before, I know the errors that were made. I know I've seen the perspectives. I had an up close and personal experience with all of that. No disrespect, I don't know how close you were in the assembly meetings last year. I sat in multiple of them. I saw how the show was ran. I know how people run this. I mean, for example, look at this, we're outside. You know, things happen. Every institution has flaws. The only thing you can do is to make sure you understand what errors you're making and how you're going to come in and make sure those errors never happen again.
Representative Hayes.
I guess let me clarify. I worked with Mara pretty closely. I mean, I'm sure you all know she resigned based on conflicts that were within, I guess, the executive board. Again, I wasn't on the executive board. I was just a staff member and the lowest staff member in the communications team. But when I'm talking about flaws and I'm talking about errors, that's directed a little bit more towards the communications team. I'm not the communications director this year. Again, if your question is relation to the communications team, you phrased it as chief of staff. Personally, I didn't really see a lot of errors within the chief of staff, but I do have ideas that I would have implemented instead. For example, I really want to work closely with the communications team and with the administrative director and making sure that we highlight agencies and ensure that the students know that it's not just Hook the Vote, who did a superb job this year, tabling and being very, very notable and noticeable in their social media. So I guess highlighting the broader agencies, and not just that, even reaching out to groups who are outside of student government, people who are actually doing the grassroots work, who aren't, very well known to the student population. So that's what I would do as chief of staff. And again, I'm not sure my time is limited, but I can go in a little bit more if you have more questions.
Okay, the time has elapsed. Are there any motions on the floor right now? Representative Mosley.
Object.
There is an objection. Okay. All those in favor of tabling all this one included? Or the rest? Okay. All those in favor, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're in favor of tabling. All things after this. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Anyone out here in favor of the tabling the rest of the nominations? Please raise your hand. After we take a vote, one, because we're voting, we cannot stop. We cannot stop until once the vote is completed, we can do whatever. Okay, all those not in favor to table, please raise your hand. You? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Anyone not in favor of tabling? 10, 11. Yeah.
Any abstentions? Any abstentions? By a vote of 11 yeses, 13 no's, 0. The motion to table is not agreed to. Representative Holman.
I move to approve. Okay, I'll make it again.
Slow down. There was a parliamentary agree. We could ask more. Will you change that? And in the 115th, we wrote a bill that got rid of the caps on executive appointments. Well, let me confer with the acting parliamentarian. 1 second.
No, I don't see it. I mean, look, I just pulled it up. I don't see it.
Are you guys the ones that want to? I know.
It's not ad. Oh, fuck. All right. No, look here. Okay, so I checked with the rules. So, if everyone knows, we're out of our code because it's not up to date. We passed a bill and the 115th that allows us to if needed. For those who need the reference to it, you can refer to AB 13. AB 13 or 115. So, Q&A can't make sense.
All right. Are there any motions on the floor? Representative.
I have a quick thing. Is there going to be a special session next week?
So I know that President Leland has told me that he has intended to call a special session. I do not know when. I have no intention of calling a special session, but I know he may or will. Are you calling the special session and when?
There's going to be a special session called so we can, okay, regarding the AG thing, I totally hear everyone's concerns tonight, and I want to be more thorough that Isabel and I and the entire executive board want to be more thorough on that. So in the coming days, not a special session, we're gonna have a meeting about it, and whichever reps or stakeholders would like to come and talk about that position and really fleshing out some legislative language, we'll be doing that. But then, of course, to pass a bill related to that, we'll have to have a special session. So at some point in the coming weeks, I will be calling a special session. We can figure out what time works best for everyone. I understand it's finals, and I don't want anyone to be extra stressed, but I also, and yeah, there's going to be a special session. I will, if everyone would prefer to do this, we can send out a poll, see if people would prefer next week or the week after, but it will be in one of these next 2 weeks. But the next special session is mainly to resolve the Attorney General.
That's true.
I mean,
That's also true.
I mean, can we call it a day on that's not Tuesday?
Another meeting?
Like, can we call a session? Oh, okay, then I'm totally amenable to calling a special session on a day that's not Tuesday. We can totally talk about it. I think the main thing tonight is we want to do the full vetting process for the executive board appointees, minus Attorney General, because obviously we have to talk more about that one.
Okay. Any motions? Representative Hallman.
I think, okay, so Rep. Hallman, I move the Patrick to chief of staff by a hand vote.
Okay. All those in favor, please. Well, okay, actually, I'm going to object because I can't count hand votes because.
Wait, I have a question. Are people going to abstain or vote no if we do this tonight? Let's just.
Okay. Can you do a roll call? Okay. We're gonna confirm. So what's on the floor right now.
I don't want people to vote no. I mean, I want y'all to feel like you were able to do the full vetting process.
Okay.
Wait. So
Okay. No, hold on. What's on the floor right now is we're voting on the confirmation by roll call. Or the chief is out.
Right now, we're about to vote on Patrick for chief of staff. I'll call the roll. Rep. Adams.
I want people to feel comfortable.
We're taking a vote. Not here.
Bailey. Krishna. Banjara.
Well, who?
Banjara.
Representative Banjara, are you here?
Yes.
How are you voting on confirming Chief of Staff Patrick Chacon?
Yes, I vote to confirm.
Voting yes. Representative Cendric, are you here?
Yes.
How are you voting on confirming Patrick Chacon as Chief of Staff?
Yes, I'm confirming.
Gerald, yes on confirming. Klassen. Representative Klassen.
Yes or no?
Do you know what you're voting on?
Weinstein. Fernandez. Bierman. Getachew. Gonzalez. Greenwald. Hellemek. Hayes. Oshie. Coleman, yes. No? I'm gonna get covered. Brad, yeah. Yes, sir. Oh.
Representative Sahil has not on and has not messaged me. I need to get a message. Representative McGill, how are you voting on confirming Patrick Chacon? Representative McGill, are you here? No. No.
Zachary Moore. Mosley. Kenya. Robert.
Not voting.
Ryan. Sanchez. Sinatombi. Tristan. Benjamin.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Villanueva. White. Whittington. Yes, okay. Hernandez. Daniel.
Yes.
Yes.
Hancock.
Representative Hancock, how do you vote? Representative Hancock, are you here? You can move forward. You can move forward. Not here. Representative Neptune, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Rogers. Win.
Wait, hold on. Not yet. Is there anyone that wishes to change their vote? Does anyone wish to change their vote? Who is not logged yet? No, who's not logged?
Wait, Braxton said yes, right?
I haven't got a text.
Okay, well, it's 20.
Hold
on. These don't remember, so it's 22 to 7. So 22 0 7. You don't have the numbers. I think it's 26.
22.
It's 22. So I put Braxton to.
Even if he did.
Even if he did, it's 23. And we need 27.
Who's not counted yet?
Well, putting Braxton, yes, that's 22. Because Paul would have yes. So 22, 0 no, 7.
Who's not counted on this one?
Adams.
Adams not here.
Feinstein.
No, not here.
Hernandez.
Not here.
Spearman.
Not here.
Gonzalez.
No.
Seal.
No.
Robert.
Wait,
No.
Sahil's not texting me. No.
No. Sanchez.
No.
Diego Hernandez.
Hernandez? No.
Hancock. No.
Representative Hancock, are you here? Yeah. So 2207. Okay. By a vote of 2207 with 26 votes needed for this to pass, the confirmation of Patrick Chacon is not confirmed.
Final vote was 22 yes, 23 yes, 23 yes, 0 no, 7 abstentions, 26 were needed for total favorable. The confirmation fails.
Is there a second? By hand vote. All those in favor of adjourning? Any opposed? Seeing none, we're adjourned. Have a great night. All right, we're adjourning, y'all. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry, Chief Justice Mackey, for being here.
I have a question.
It's totally okay.
Can you hear me?
No, I will count everyone for second sign in. You're good. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
See ya.